Hello everyone, it's me Zim, and I'm glad you're here. Today, my first video ever, I'm going to show you how I made a hanging skeleton decoration out of scrap pallet wood. And, if you'd like, you're more than welcome to leave a comment down below suggesting a name for our new spooky friend here. And thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy. So I've had this idea of a skeleton made out of pallet wood floating around in my head, and I went ahead and drew this up kind of like a rough blueprint of what I was wanting to make. Got some pallet wood laying around here, and I'm going to pick out a nice thick piece of wood, kind of a nice width, one of the bigger boards that I got laying around, in order to start to mark out for our head and our rib cage here. And I'm going to want to start with those first, so I can make sure that whenever I get to the arms, the hands, legs, and all that, that the head and the rib cage are a good size compared to our arms. I don't want to make the arms first, and then, well, now we have a very small rib cage. That's not going to look very well unless we want someone that's very broad-armed and lanky. But yeah, let's go get some wood and start marking out our skull and our rib cage. So I got the gloves on because I don't want to be tearing up my hands too much, and safety it's a good thing to have in most cases. We've got the widest board that I have on hand currently, so I'm going to head and start here with our skull. Make sure that I'm going to want to take up the whole width of the board, I think, in order to this is what you're going to look at for the most part. We're going to be drawn to the face of it, and I want it to have a nice big face. And the wider it is, I haven't quite decided on how I want to make it hang, whether I want a bracket in the back in order to hang it on a nail, or if I want to put a chain on it. And if I do want to put the chain on it, I want to make sure I have something nice and wide, so I can have 2 anchor points on each side of the skull here. So I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, mark out my skull here. Don't mind my crude drawing skills. I'm not an artist, but hopefully good enough in order to put a face on this board here. If anything, I'll just put a smiley face, 2 eyes, and we'll call it blank. Alright. I got my parts sketched out here, my skull, my rib cage, and my pelvis. I'm making sure that I'm leaving enough bit of meat in the wood there, so whenever I put my hanging hardware in there, it's got enough in order to screw in, and has enough in order to hold it there. As you can see, these are very anatomically correct. I want nothing but the realest skeleton hanger that I could possibly have. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead, get these cut out, and I'll show you once I get them kind of shaped out here. And yeah, so let's get the scroll saw, sorry about that, put out here, get these chopped up, get the eyes, nose out, get the holes in our pelvis out, and I'll show you our result here. we have our glued up skull, pelvis, and rib cage. Again, I had marked out our bones for the arms and the legs, and I got another scrap here where I was able to draw up some hands and feet, just kind of, you know, just little cartoonish little hands and feet in order to put on to our skeleton. So what we're going to do now is take this out and get it on the scroll saw and cut it out. I'll see you there. Alright, here's what we have so far. We got our feet, the bones for the legs here, pelvis, rib cage, skull, have an arm, and our two hands. The other arm I have clamped up still. It's being glued, just like the rib cage and the pelvis there. I had to glue them back together just because down the line I don't want that seam there that ran through our board in order to split open once we get this guy hung up and everything. So trying to be a little proactive about it, but have them all laid out here. Now we're going to start our sanding process in order to take off some of these rough edges, make sure there's no splinters, and kind of clean up some of our cuts here. Just make them look a bit more uniform, and we'll go after that. Alright, here we have the skeleton all set out. Got my hardware corresponding to the joints I got here, and on all the pieces I have marked it with a little notch on the back side where I'm wanting to put the hardware. So I'm going to drill a hole right in the center of the piece of wood and then screw my piece of hardware onto it. Once I get all that done, I'll open up the hardware and link them together so it all hangs right. So in this clip here, you can see me drilling the holes for the hardware, screwing them in place, followed by staining the wood with a white stain for that iconic skeleton collar, and then hooking the hardware together so our skeleton is all in one piece. Before I got to this step though, after I used my benchtop sander, I went ahead and took some sandpaper so I could get down into the little nooks and crannies so everything's all smoothed out. But yeah, now with our creation assembled, let's hop on the bike, head to the woods, and get some final shots and wrap this video up. So I'll meet you at the trails. See you there. Well, we made it to the trailhead here. We're going to be going down this way and going on down to that creek. So he handled the ride pretty well, I must say. no fuss, just kind of relaxing. So we're going to throw him in a bag so I don't have to carry him loosely, and as we're going on down the trail, we're going to be taking some pictures and some video. So yeah, I'll show you that, and then we'll touch in and go from there. So still on the trail, sun's going down, so I hope that there's a little bit of light by the time I get down to the little area that I want to set up at. Yeah, been cussed out by squirrels and chipmunks this whole entire time. They do not like me walking around on their trails, so. But yeah, I've been hiking for about 20 minutes now, and I think I'm roughly halfway there. So just gotta keep on working my way downhill. Yeah, it's real pretty out here though. It's real pretty. No complaints about any of those. I like it out here. Finally made it all the way down here, so I can take the rest of the videos and whatnot to show off the creation, the skeleton. Love it down here. Love how it's by the water. This water usually fills up a bit more, but got some evergreens. It's real nice down here, real pretty. But yeah, I'll do the final little setups for the last few shots, and I'll show you guys all that I got. So here we go. Alright, my last shot was going to be him kind of right by this path, but yeah, that sunset, it's dark. If I zoom out, yeah, you can't see anything. It's so dark. There's my bag, the stuff I brought. Well, him and then the tripod here. But yeah, so I guess this will be it. So yep, he's saying bye. So happy Halloween, everybody.